Good morning, children of class 9. I hope you have understood all the lessons that we have studied so far. In case of any doubt, you are free to ask. Now we were doing in the last session a horse and two goats. And the script has been given to you. We came up to the description of the horse statue. The horse statue plays a very important part in the story. It is a big horse, a life-sized horse, and very colorful. It is raising up its front legs, and the tail of the horse is curved like a loop. There's a warrior beside the horse. He has curved, scythe-like mustachios. Mustachios എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് മീശ, scythe-like അരുവാൾ പോലുള്ള ഇങ്ങനെ curve ചെയ്തിരിക്കും. And aquiline nose. Aquiline means very sharp curved nose, like an eagle's nose, like the beak of an eagle. So we will continue from there. Munni is sitting at the pedestal. Pedestal is the base of the statue. The statue had been there for many years, but Munni did not take notice of it. The vandals, the boys who destroy things, the vandals of the village, they are the people who destroy things with their knives. They cut the trees, they destroy the trunk of the tree, but they left this statue intact. They did not destroy the statue at all. Munni sat at the foot of the statue, watching his two goats graze in the arid soil, arid, very dry, among the cactus and lantana bushes. Lantana, you have wild and as well as garden lantana, the Veliparthi in Malayalam. He looked at the sun. It had tilted westwards, no doubt, but it was not yet time to go back home. The sun is almost setting, and if he goes back home early, his wife will not be pleased with him. His wife has to go for work, earn money, buy the things necessary for the food, and then by that time only he should return home. His wife is very caring. Though she has a bad temper, though she gets angry, she loves Munni and she cares for him. It was not yet time to go home. If he went too early, his wife would have no food for him. Also, he must give her time to cool off her temper. She gets angry in the morning, but by the evening, her anger cools down and she is calm. Also, he must give her time to cool off her temper and feel sympathetic. She should feel sorry for him, and then she would scrounge and manage to get some food. She will work very hard and she will manage to get some food for him. He noticed now a new sort of vehicle coming down at full speed. A kind of vehicle which he had not seen before at all. And it is coming very fast. It looked like a motor car and a bus. He used to be intrigued by the novelty of such spectacles. Novelty means new. Such kind of vehicles were new to him. He is seeing them for the first time. And he liked, he intrigued, he felt puzzled. He wondered what kind of vehicle it was. Of such spectacles means the sight of this new vehicle coming down. Something like a car and a bus. But of late work was going on at the source of the river on the mountain. And an assortment of people and traffic went past him. Assortment means different kind, a variety, different types. Assorted biscuits you have. Went past him and he took it all casually and described to his wife later in the evening everything he saw. When he went back in the evening, he told his wife everything that he saw on the road. The people, the vehicles. Today, while he observed the yellow vehicle coming down, he was wondering how to describe it later to his wife when it spluttered and stopped in front of him. It stopped suddenly right in front of him. Spluttered is the sound which the engine makes when the car or bus or lorry is about to stop. A red-faced foreigner who had been driving it got down and went round, stooped, looking, poking it under the vehicle. The driver is a foreigner. The driver of the vehicle, he is actually not a driver, he is a very rich, wealthy American. So he tried to find out why the vehicle stopped. He looked under and then he approached Munni. Excuse me, is there a gas station nearby? Gas is the word Americans use for petrol. Or do I have to wait until another car comes? He suddenly looked up at the clay horse and cried, marvelous. His reaction when he saw the statue, nobody else in the village noticed the statue at all. He said it is a wonderful statue, the horse and the rider. Without completing his sentence, Munni felt he should get up and run away and cursed his age. He could not readily put his limbs into action. Munni wanted to run away because this foreigner was wearing khaki and Munni, being an uneducated poor villager, thought that this man was a policeman and he had come to arrest him. He could not run away because of his age. He is old. So he stayed back. The red-faced man wore khaki clothes. Evidently a policeman or a soldier. Munni said to himself, he will chase or shoot me if I start running. Some dogs chase only those who run. Dogs usually chase people who run. If you just walk quietly by, the dog will leave you. So he thought he will not run. Oh, Shiva, protect me. He prayed to the gods to protect him. I don't know why this man should be after me. I don't know why this man is trying to arrest me. Meanwhile, the foreigner cried, marvelous. That is referring to the statue. Again nodding his head. He paced around the statue with his eyes fixed on it. Munni sat frozen for a while. Frozen, he became cold with fear because he thought this is a policeman. And then fidgeted and tried to edge away. Edge away means move away very slowly without attracting the notice of the foreigner. Now the other man, the foreigner, suddenly pressed his palms together, smiled and said, Namaste. That is the Indian greeting. Now with this social distancing, because of the COVID, we have to greet people like this. How do you do? At which Munni spoke the only English expressions he had learned, yes or no. Those are the only two words in English which he knows. The foreigner knows only English, Munni knows only Tamil. Having exhausted his English vocabulary, he does not have any other words in English, he doesn't know. He started in Tamil. Now the rest he is saying in Tamil. My name is Munni. These two goats are mine and no one can gainsay it. No one can deny. No one can say it is not my goats. Though our village is full of slanderers these days. In the village there are many people who tell lies, who tell bad things about others. Slander means to tell bad things about others. Who will not hesitate to say that what belongs to a man doesn't belong to him. The goats belong to me, but these slanderers will say that the goats do not belong to me. The foreigner faithfully looked in the direction indicated by Munni's fingers. That is, he is pointing at the two goats and saying they are mine. Gazed for a while at the two goats. He looked at the goats and the rocks and with a puzzled expression took out his silver cigarette case and lit a cigarette. Suddenly remembering the courtesies of the season, he asked. Courtesies means politeness. If you offer a cigarette, if you smoke a cigarette and a friend is there along with you, It is courteous, it is politeness that you offer the friend a cigarette. You have to give the friend a cigarette. That is the courtesies of the season. He asked, "Do you smoke?" Munni answered, "Yes, no." He knows only those two words. Whereupon the red-faced man took a cigarette and gave it to Munni, who received it with surprise, having had no offer of a smoke for anyone for years now. He's not sure what the cigarette is, what to do with it. He had always wanted to smoke a cigarette. Only once did the shopman give him one cigarette on credit without paying money, and he remembered how good it had tasted. The other flicked the lighter open and offered a light to Munni. He wanted him to light a cigarette with the lighter. Munni felt so confused. He didn't know what to do about how to act, that he blew on it and put it out. He blew on the light, the flame coming from the lighter, and it went out. The other, puzzled but undaunted, not disappointed, not discouraged, flourished his lighter, presented it again, and lit Munni's cigarette. He made another attempt to light the cigarette of Munni. Munni drew a deep puff. He smoked the cigarette, he inhaled it and started coughing because he had not been smoking for a long time. It was racking. The cough was painful, hurting, no doubt, but extremely pleasant. He enjoyed the cigarette in spite of the cough. When his cough subsided, when his cough reduced, he wiped his eyes and took a stock of the situation, understanding that the other man was not an inquisitor of any kind. Now he realized that this foreigner was not a policeman or a soldier. He was a friendly man. Yet, in order to make sure, he remained wary. He was still careful. He was still moved away from the foreigner. No need to run away from a man who gave him such potent smoke, such powerful cigarette. He enjoyed the cigarette. So he decided not to run away from him. His head was reeling from the effect of one of those strong American cigarettes made with roasted tobacco. He felt a giddy. Reeling means giddy, fainting. The man said, "I come from New York." Took out a wallet, a purse from his hip pocket and presented his card. Again Munni felt frightened. Actually, he is presenting his identity card. But Munni thought that it was an arrest warrant. Munni shrank away from the card. He got frightened. He moved back, shrank. Perhaps he was trying to present a warrant and arrest him. Beware of khaki, one part of his mind warned. He is illiterate, so he thinks that all people wearing khaki, you have to be careful of them. You cannot trust them. Take all the cigarettes or whatever is offered, but don't get caught. You take the cigarette from the foreigner, but don't allow him to catch you and arrest you. Beware of khaki. Be careful of people wearing khaki. He thought that it is the policeman's uniform. He wished he were in 70, as the shopman had said. Again he felt frightened. He wanted to run away because the foreigner offered his card. At 71, didn't run, but surrendered to whatever came. When you are 70 years old, you cannot run fast. He could only ward off trouble by talk. So he tried to talk to him. So he went on, all in the chaste Tamil for which Kreedam was famous. Chaste Tamil, very pure Tamil, good Tamil. I tell you, sir, that we know nothing of the case. He is referring to a case of which the foreigner knows nothing. If the murder was committed, whoever did it will not escape. Bhagavan is all seeing. Bhagavan is God. God knows everything. A body had been, don't ask me about it, I know nothing. Munni says he's not involved in the murder. He knows nothing of the case. A body has been found mutilated and thrown under a tamarind tree at the border of the villages between Kridam and Kuppam a few weeks before, giving rise to much gossip and speculation. The case refers to the mutilated means disfigured, all wounded and torn. The body was found under a tamarind tree and nobody knew how it came there, who killed him, what happened to him, nobody knows. Giving rise to much gossip and speculation. They are guessing, they are trying to find out who did this murder. Munni added an explanation. Anything is possible there. People over there will stop at nothing. So in the village there are bad people and they will blame others for something which they did. The foreigner nodded his head and listened courteously, though he understood nothing.